Hello world, it is Wednesday, February 8th, 2012. Hope everybody's having a great start to their week, great week so far, sorry. And today I want to talk about, this is going to be a personal blog slash commentary today, so today I'm going to talk about recent news that's been coming out the past few weeks in the video game community. Since probably like late last year to now that we've been starting to receive a whole bunch of news and a whole bunch of rumors and guesses about the next generation of consoles. I mean, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and the Wii are getting on to 5, 6 years old, are getting on 6, 7 years now. So now the question is, what are the new systems they're going to be? What are the new generation of systems? And one of the rumors that has come out about the Xbox 720, that's not what it's actually called. We don't know if that's what it's actually called. That's sort of just the name that a lot of people have come up with it, just to play off Xbox 360, Xbox 720. So what we are having is, what the problem is that's come out, sort of like the controversy, I guess, for lack of a better word, is that the Xbox 720 or the next generation Microsoft console is not going to support used games. Now, used games are a huge heap of controversy in the video game community, if you don't know, because the problem is when you buy used games from, say, like GameStop, or now that Best Buy and Walmart, and I believe Target also is doing used games. The problem is that the used games, that whenever a store like that sells used games, the developers don't see those profits. Like, the game developers don't see those profits. And the stores just get the money from the used games. So so there have been attempts recently to try to encourage people to buy games new. There have been like the NF if you buy a game used, for example, I know EA did this for Madden. If you buy a game used, in order to play the game online, you have to buy like $10 like online pass. Or if you buy a game, or like I know Rage, if you buy Rage used, they'll lock out certain features of the single player experience, which I think is total bullshit. And so so what happened was, the story kind of came out again when the developer for Saints Row said that he supported the idea of the Xbox 720 not being able to play used games. So that means that if this rumor is true, that means if I buy a game, let's say I buy a game for the Xbox 720, and that say if I buy a game, the moment I open it and put it in the console, it's done. So I can't let a friend borrow it. I can't do anything with it. I can't sell it back if I want to eventually get rid of it and make more money out of it. But it's just, the problem that I see is, like, I can understand where developers are coming from. The developers, like I said, they don't see any money from used game sales. They don't. And I can completely understand why they want to, like, I can completely, they want to make sure that they receive money for the work that they put in, which is understandable. But by doing this, by punishing gamers for buying used games, is absolute fucking bullshit. I mean, these developers are like, oh, it's destroying our way of life, we're suffering here. It's like, yeah, bullshit. Like, your games make millions upon millions of dollars, like, shut up, And the problem that I have with it also is just that, look, like I said, I can understand where the developers are coming from. They want to make money off their work. But it's just, this isn't the right way to go about it, to block used games. And I have several opinions about what we should do to, to help this crisis. One, don't make games $60. Because the reason why so many people buy games used is because they're so freaking expensive. I mean, $60 is a hell of a lot of money for a game. At all. Yes, you can wait, eventually to, like, it gets around to $20, $30 new, but that's going to take, like, months and months and months, You have to wait for that, so be it, but it's expensive to buy new games. I mean, $60 is going to be expensive, and I'm not going to be surprised when the Xbox 720 comes out, or whenever the next generation of consoles comes out, the games are going to be maybe a little bit more expensive, maybe $65, maybe $70. I mean, it's just, stop making games $60, because I can bet you, I can name a couple of games off the top of my head that aren't worth $60. Call of Duty, cough cough. Let's put 5 hours of single-player content and charge $60 for it. I mean, but that's a different rant for another day. But, like, so that problem, and the problem is that that there's no rental market anymore. Yes, you have GameFly and Redbox to help kind of make up for that. By the way, if this actually happens, you can kiss Redbox goodbye. Not Redbox, but like GameFly will probably go, out of the business. Like you lose a huge chunk of their business if they actually go through with this. Probably even go out of business even. But so you're ruining another company's chances of succeeding when you're doing this. But I mean, the problem is that like I said, just I don't know. This is just frustrating because it's like since there is not really that much of a strong market for renting games anymore, like there was with Blockbuster and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people, myself included, are extremely reluctant to go out. There are very few games that I will buy like brand spanking new. Those like Mass Effects, the Assassin's Creed, the Elder Scrolls games. Just there's a very handful. There's very just a small, tiny like handful of game series that I would ever consider paying like full price for. But since there's not much of a rental market, gamers don't want to spend $60 on a game that they're gonna eventually hate, and they're not gonna do. And once they buy the game, they can't sell it back. What are they gonna do with it? And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those aspects that's just really really frustrating, and it's just there is middle ground to this because used games, and it's just I don't know. But I think a solution to this, at least this is the way I see the solution, is that still do used games and continue people doing used games. Of course, you want to encourage people to buy the game brand new. But one of the things that we can do is that instead of just blocking out the used games market, you know, have the developers, have the game publishers make contracts with these stores and make sure that they get a part of the earnings from these used games. Because I agree, I don't like the system that these developers, who work hard on these games, even the shitty Call of Duty games, you know, they work hard for these games. They work hard, and this is their way of earning a living. And I can, understand why they want, why they're not really too fond of used games. I can understand that. But at the same time, it's like used, by getting rid of used games, you're going to be screwing the gamers over, your fans over. You're going to be screwing a lot of people over who, loyal fans, people who've played video games for a long time, like myself. You're going to be screwing a lot of them over if we're essentially banning used games. This is essentially what it is. So, just make sure that these markets, that these developers just get a certain amount of the profits for the used game, maybe over half, maybe 50%. Like 65% of used game sales will go back to the developer. I think that's a perfect way to go about it. So the store can still keep some profits, but the good chunk of it still goes to the developer. So that way the developers can still make money off of them, and it will still facilitate the used games market. Because I think used games are really integral to gamers. Because let's face it. And the truth is also used games also, give an opportunity for gamers to play games who can't buy the game new anymore. Games where like they're very old and stuff like that. And it gives them the because most of the time, especially for like really old classic games, buying an old classic game brand spanking new is going to cost you quite a pretty penny, more than a brand new game that was just released like a month ago. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, my view is that, should developers make money off a game? Should the developers have the right to, be upset about this? Absolutely. I can completely understand what they're coming from. I don't like the way they're handling it though, because, especially when, the rumors of the Xbox 720 banning used games, I feel that's gonna, alienate a whole bunch of people from video games as a whole bunch of alienate a bunch of gamers. And when they don't have to do that, when they could just, make contracts, make deals with these, retail stores, and just say, hey, look, let's just, split the profits, and give some back to me, that kind of thing. I think that would be the best solution, because it's the best of both worlds. But that's in a perfect world. This is not a perfect world. Most likely, what we'll see is probably the developers getting their wish, because with the way they've been screwing over used games as of recently, this is sort of seems like the logical path that they're going to go, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? But that's pretty much it for today. Yeah, so I will see you guys next week. Next week is going to be a review and list of 5. Don't know what that list of 5 is going to be yet. So I'll figure it out by then. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you later. Peace.